What do you feel when you read the news? Every day we scroll through headlines, war, crisis, suffering. We read them, pause a moment, and then move on. When we hear about events like Rohingya crisis, we often think in numbers. 1 million of refugees, thousands of displaced, countless have affected. But numbers don't tell stories, and stories are what make us human. In this video, I will explore how media shapes our understanding of suffering and how literature reveals what of media often cannot. Because between headline and humanity, there is a gap, and that gap matters. Media is one of the most powerful tools in shaping how we see the world. It brings distant events closer to us. It informs us quickly and efficiently. But in doing so, it simplifies reality. Complex human experiences are reducing in short headlines and quick summaries. For example, in news report might say thousands displaced due to conflicts. What does displace actually mean? It means leaving your home behind, losing memory, safety, and identity. It means uncertainty, fear, and loss. Yet these emotional realities are rarely captured in headlines because media prioritizes speed and clarity, not depth and emotion. And as viewers, we become used to this. We begin to consume suffering as information, not as human experience. Numbers are important. They help us understand scale, but they can also create emotional distance. When we hear 1 million people, it becomes abstract. It is difficult to imagine 1 million individual lives. Instead of empathy, we often feel detachment. This is empathy. We often feel detachment. This is sometimes called comparison fatigue. The more we see suffering in numbers, the less emotional we respond. Suffering becomes something we recognize but no longer to feel. And this is dangerous because when we stop feeling, we stop caring. Sometimes the problem is not that we don't know. It is that we know too much but feel too little. We are constantly exposed to suffering through media. Every day, new crises, new tragedies, new headlines, and slowly, sometimes changes inside us. We stop reacting not because we are heartless, but because we are overwhelmed. That is what is often called comparison fatigue. When suffering becomes repetitive, it starts to feel distant, almost unreal. We scroll past it like any other content, and this is where media unintentionally creates a problem. It informs us, but it also destinations us. Because when everything is urgent, nothing feels urgent anymore. Unlike media, literature does not rush. It slows down. It asks us to feel, not just observe. In literature, suffering is not statistic. It is a story. We see the world through the eyes of its character. We understand their fears, their hopes, their struggles. We connect with them. Many words, themes like exile, identity, loneliness, and marginalization. Characters often feel lost, disconnected, or hurt. These experiences are just fictional, but they reflect real human conditions. The difference is that literature gives us time to understand them. It gives depth of explanation. It gives depth explanation. Now compare that a news headline. A headline informs, but literature transforms. So turns distant suffering into something personal, something we can feel, and that feeling is what impacts. So, what is the real difference between media and literature? Media tells us what is happening. Besides this, literature tells us what it feels like. Media gives us facts. Literature gives us meaning. Media speaks to the mind. Literature speaks to the heart. Both are important. We need media to stay informed. We need literature to stay human. The problem arises when we rely only on media, because then we understand events, but we fail to understand people. And without understanding, we lose empathy. We live in a world of speed. News travels instantly. Information reaches us within seconds. But understanding takes time. Media is undesigned to be fast. It delivers updates quickly, efficiently, and continuously. But in this process, sometimes it's lost depth. When information is consumed too quickly, it is rarely processed deeply. We know what is happening, but we don't always understand why it matters. Literature works differently, but it slows down. It forces us to pause, reflect, and engage. And in that pause, we begin to understand. So the question is, are we truly informed or just quickly updated? Here in Bangladesh, these issues are not far away. We hear about refugee camps, displaced communities, and the humanitarian crisis. And how often do we stop and think about individual lives? What does a child in refugee camp dream about? What does home mean to someone who has lost it? What does it feel like to being now here? These are questions media rarely asks, but they are questions we must consider, because understanding begins when we see people not as numbers but as human beings. Another important issue is how we divide the world into us and them. We often see people in crisis, and others. Often distant, separate from us, we can say, they refuse, they are victims, they are not like us. But what does this language do? It creates distance. It makes their suffering feel less personal, less urgent. In literature, the idea of othering is very common. Characters who are different are often understood, excluded, and feared. And in real life, the same thing happens when we label people as others. We stop seeing them as individuals, we stop seeing their humanity. And when that happens, empathy begins to disappear. There is a difference between knowing something and feeling something. Media gives us information, but information alone does not create empathy. So we can know about suffering without truly feeling it, and without feeling there is no connection. Literature bridges this gap. It transforms information into information. It allows us experience life through someone else's perspective, and that experience is powerful because empathy does not come from facts, it comes from feeling. But perhaps the most important question is not about media or literature, it is about us. As viewers, as readers, as human beings, what is our responsibility? Do we simply consume information? Or do we reflect it? Do we scroll past suffering? Or do we stop and thinking? The truth is, media does not control everything. We choose how we respond. We decide whatever to engage, or ignore. That choice matters because changes does not begin with information; it begins with awareness. Alright. So awareness is important, but awareness alone is not enough. Understanding suffering should lead to something: reflection, conversation, empathy, and ultimately action. Action doesn't mean something big always. Sometimes it begins with something simple. So, listening more carefully, thinking more deeply, seeing others as human, not statistics, because we move from awareness to action. We begin to close the gap between headlines and humanity. In a world dominated by headlines, it is easy to forget the human side of suffering. We become informed but not empathetic. Media tells us what is happening, but literature reminds us what it matters. Between headlines and humanity, there is a gap, and bridging that gap is our responsibility. Because behind every number, there is a story, and every story deserves to be heard. So the question is, are we truly listening?